Good morning, everybody. And first of all, can I thank you all for giving us the opportunity to come here today and share our story. We feel very honoured indeed. My name's Yvonne Farquharson. This is my colleague, Richard Mcdougal. And we're here from Breathe Arts Health Research, which is a not-for-profit social enterprise company that span out of Guy's and St Thomas's charity a few years ago. I'm here to talk to you today about Breathe Magic, our flagship programme. Breathe Magic is an intensive therapy program for young people with a condition called hemiplegia. Hemiplegia is a weakness or paralysis affecting one side of the body, mainly the hand and the arm. It's caused by an injury to the brain. What that means for their everyday lives is that everyday activities that you and I might take for granted are incredibly difficult, often impossible for this group of young people. If you just take a moment to imagine how hard it would be to button up your shirt just using one hand, or as a lady to tie up your hair behind your back, do up the back of a zip. These things, they seem small because we take them for granted, but they stop these young people leading independent and fulfilling lives. On top of that, 44% of these young people go on to suffer with mental health and psychological problems because their confidence and self-esteem is so low. So what's out there for them? Our National Health Service is great. They deal with a lot of very amazing conditions and are changing our country, of which we're very, very grateful. For this particular group, sometimes they fall through the gap. They're not quite severe enough to get a lot of therapy, but also they're not able to lead independent lives. So a lot of therapy revolves around occupational therapists teaching a range of exercises that the young people then need to go away and practice repetitively. Now, these are kids, and they're not going to go away and practice exercises repetitively, unfortunately. So what we have done is we've brought together occupational therapists with academics in the field of neurorehabilitation and magic circle magicians. Now, what we've done is we've asked the occupational therapists to explain to the magicians what are the movements that these young people need to go away and repeat. They've explained. The magicians have gone away, adapted and selected a range of magic tricks that in performing the trick, it's replicating the exact movement that we need these young people to do. Now, unsurprisingly, the young people are incredibly engaged with the magic and very happy to practice. So we did a range of pilot studies, all underpinned by scientific research, to look at, could this be an effective way to deliver therapy? The results were incredibly positive. In fact, our research papers have gone on to be published in peer-reviewed medical journals. And so we developed a program, the Breathe Magic Intensive Therapy Program. It's a 10-day program, and the young people come along to learn to become young magicians in their spare time. They're very, very happy to sign up to that. From our perspective, we're actually able to deliver 60 hours of intensive therapy over 10 days, which is what the NICE guidelines recommends should be delivered to this group of young people. However, unsurprisingly again, the NHS don't have the resources to be able to free up a whole load of therapists to be able to deliver 60 hours of intensive therapy. And as we mentioned before, the kids might not be so willing to sign up either. So we are now working as a clinical provider to the NHS. We have a number of clinical commissioning groups funding us to come in and deliver this service to these young people. And the results are astonishing. We see on day one children coming in who have almost no use of their hand and arm. And then on day 10, they're very, very functioning. In fact, my favorite ever story was a little girl called Freya. She was about 11, 12 years old. She came running in full speed on day 10 of the camp and shouted at the top of her voice, "Today I pulled up my pants on my own." Now, that feels like a small thing, but if you imagine a young child reaching puberty who can't go to the toilet on their own because they can't pull up their own pants, you know, this is very serious stuff. So as well as that, we work on the children's confidence, body language, communication skills. It's very much a holistic program because we believe so deeply that mental health and physical health are completely interlinked. So We're going to be delivering another session later on today that will tell you a bit more about our research. It's a cost-effective program, clinically researched program, and it's already being commissioned by a number of CCGs, so we just need to get it out to some more. But I'm looking out here now and I'm seeing a lot of eyes looking at me thinking, didn't you say there was some magic involved in this? So I can pretty much willing you to get me off stage and bring on a magician. And just so happens that Richard Mcdougal here is one of our lead magicians, one of the founders of the program. He's from the inner magic circle and most notably has done magic for the Queen's Jubilee Party to 30 kings and queens. So he's pretty qualified to be here. So I'm going to hand you over now to Richard Mcdougal.
Thank you very much. Thank you. No pressure. Good. Would you like to see some magic? 3 of you. Lovely. Awkward. Paid for 7. So we'd like to start with a little, perhaps something from nothing. Ooh. 3 months in a mime course seems a bit of a waste, but there we go. A little squeeze and it should just seem to transform, yes, into a small red ball. It's really nothing. I can tell by the applause. Thanks very much. Madam, your name is? Emma, we've not met before, no. Haven't spoken on the telephone, haven't rehearsed anything. I've got the wrong Emma. That's a bit worrying, isn't it? Will you just check that for me, Emma? Make sure it's just a little red ball, no escaping gases, no hidden elephants, rabbits. Okay. So if you have a very sharp finger, it's not this one, but you can take these and you can slice them right down the middle. So now you have 2 for the price of 1, which means nothing to you, but it's very cost-effective for me, so this is very good. With these 2 balls and months of practice, I'd like to show you a piece of magic that only takes 10 seconds to perform. This is called the mystery of the jumping ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the 2 balls of... You're not buying it. Lovely. Just as well, I'm not selling it. So what we need for this is an expert in their field, because this is the mystery. It does take over many, many months to practice and perform. We do have an expert with us today. Would you please welcome Mr. Ben Jones? Wow! Wow! Is that one of them?
Yeah.
That one of them? Wow! So, Ben, you're a professional magician?
Yeah.
This is your full-time job?
Yeah.
Jolly good. And how old are you now, Ben?
8.
8. So we are going to perform the mystery of the jumping balls. Is that right? That's my set. Do you have your own set with you? Right, you are a professional. All right, you thought of everything. Okay. Have you got those? There you go. Take your time. Take a moment. Here we go. Here we go. Months to perform, 10 seconds to do.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Ben Jones! Take a bow, Ben. Take a bow.
Thank you.
So I think we'll all agree that was super cool. So Ben came on one of our Breathe Magic programs because Ben has the condition called hemiplegia. So do you want to tell them, Ben, what your hand was like before you came on the magic program?
It was like this.
So it was like a fist?
Yeah.
All the time?
Yeah.
So what did that mean for you? What things were difficult for you to do?
I couldn't do anything.
Couldn't do anything. That's a bit annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Quite annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine. And at Magic Camp, we obviously taught you lots of magic, which worked up that hand really well, didn't it? And do you want to just show people what your hand can do now?
It can do this.
Wow. And Ben, what can you do now that you couldn't do before?
I can do magic.
That's cool.
And I can ride my bike.
You can ride your bike?
Yeah.
That's cool. And I think as well, what about when you're getting dressed?
I could do my buttons.
Wow, how amazing is that? So, as well as being a super cool magician, he's now a lot more independent. We also have Ben's mum, who is really pleased to be here today, and she's just going to tell you a little bit more about the programme from her perspective, to talk about some of the wider impacts. So please welcome Sharon Jones.
Wow, I wonder if you can imagine just how proud I am of Ben. Well done. This has been really quite an amazing journey for us. It leaves me quite speechless. If you can, I don't know if you can believe that Ben, just 2 weeks before Magic Camp, he was crying with his teacher because he couldn't join in with the rest of the children when they were doing their assembly, and that made me feel really sad, and I know Ben felt really sad too. But look at him now. He can do a magic trick in front of 500 people. It amazes me. So I want to say thank you to West Kent Commissioners, because they made it possible for Ben to engage in this programme, and for that we're really thankful. It wasn't easy. It really wasn't an easy process at all. We had to contact GPs, consultants. We even had the MP office involved, and finally we got place, and we were really, really pleased to have that place, and we're so thankful to have an opportunity like today to say thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about the therapy that Ben had before the programme, perhaps, or if he had any?
He did have therapy. It was quite sparse. It was quite sporadic, and it really didn't do much for his hand. And so at the age of 7, he arrived at camp, actually just before he was 7, and his hand was still like that. And then 3 days after this intense therapy, so quite the opposite really, the thumb started to move to the side. And I really did see that. In fact, I had to say to Yvonne, I think his thumb is there. And she said, it will be so intense. And then, of course, as you saw today, he was able to open his hand right out like that. And that is the magic.
Sharon, what does that mean for you as a family, kind of outside of the Magic Camp, I suppose?
Well, as Ben already said, he can do so much more. He can do his magic. He's the cool kid at school. And he does the magic, and that's really great. And he's got so much more confidence. He's independent, and that means that I have more time, he gets more time, we all get more time. And I think he doesn't need those therapies as he needed them before, locally. And I think that's the message, really, that the intense therapy is the stuff that works.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Sharon, for sharing your story. The Breathe Magic Intensive Therapy Programme is set up to let these young people go on to lead independent and fulfilling lives. And that is the real magic. Thank you very much.